What's up guys, it's Michael here. In this video, we're going to cover what are the best states to do business in. So I made a video like this similar to it before, but not too much in detail. So this time, one of the subscribers made a comment, so I decided to oblige by making this video. So before, when I made previous videos like this, keep in mind is that was based on my own knowledge, and I didn't really branch out to ask other people who actually live there, people I know close by. So in this video, I decided to ask people who live in these states that I mentioned, and I did my own research online just to double check to see how accurate it is. So keep in mind is whatever you see online information about these states, how like business friendly they are, how tax efficient they are, maybe they pay less tax, it doesn't apply to the same situation as you. Meaning is, let's say you are a farmer and you want to move to like another state that has a lot less tax, but you realize when you go there, they're not blue collar jobs or white collar jobs, so it might not fit for the situation for you. And the standard of living will really depend on what your needs are. So in this case, I look at mainly the 4 states and a bonus one, which by CNBC, the bonus fifth states that they think it's the best for economic growth for 2022. So let's get down to it. First, we're going to compare two major economic hub zones and two another major economic hub zones, but they're technically way different in the standard of living. So I broke down the list into these 4 categories in these 4 states mainly. First, we're looking at state income tax. That's the main one, which gets a lot of people, but that's just a basic equation. Number 2, you look at corporate income tax. This is mainly for people who are running business. And number 3, this one's really important. This one is usually based on what people do when they run their business and when they live there. They have to experience it themselves. So I like to call it business friendly, or basically experience by living there by running your business. So you can call it like business friendly states, but this time with real life experience added to it. Number 4, convenience, meaning transportation. How easy is it for you to get a house and move from point A to point B in a less stressful and timely manner? Number 5, let's put it for houses. What's the cost of living for owning a home? And these are in broad details, and you look at the standard of living, they all correlate to each other. Meaning is, if one thing is missing, something else will be affected. For example, if your house is really cheap, but it takes you like an hour to drive to work, then that's a headache. Or for example, you live really close to your work. You get off of work, you want to go to a vacation. You may want to go to a place to enjoy the income you earn, but it takes like ages because of traffic. This example, California. So first, we're going to look at the first state, California. California has a state income tax of 13.3% as the highest. So most people will not be hitting this bracket, only for a few exceptions, and going down the line, majority of people will be in the lower bracket. But when you look at the highest bracket of income tax, it funnels down to the people going down. So basically, it's very high. It's actually one of the highest. Going to number 2, Texas. Texas doesn't have income tax, which is great. A big bonus for employees and employers. Going down to number 3, Tennessee. And why did I choose Tennessee? You'll find out just a second when you click the subscribe button down below and the like button. And Tennessee will grant you with no income tax. Going down to list number 4, Colorado. Colorado has an income tax of 4.55%, basically around 4.5%. All right, not bad. So first, we're going to look at the main two. The main two, what you see on mainstream media, California versus Texas. Corporate income tax for California, 8.84%. At this point, you can call it 9. Texas corporate income tax is based on receipt gross income, meaning is the sales you make for your business. Now keep in mind, I said corporate income tax. That's only if your business hits to a corporate level. And if you check out my previous videos, I made what's the differences in business entities. For example, LLC, you got your S Corp and you got your C Corp. So that, if you want to figure out more about what those type of business entities are, go check out that video in my channel. But to keep that in mind, corporate income tax it only paints a really bleak picture. What I'm really looking for and what I want to share with you guys is how does it work when you run a business. So you run a business, personally myself, I experienced this multiple times, and my own family members I experienced this multiple times. First, you gotta look for is location. What type of product or service you're trying to provide. So In my example, in this YouTube channel, which you guys should click subscribe down below, the service is you're providing entertainment and information. Now, what type of location you need to be? The location is maybe scenic, maybe you do it at your home, maybe do it in the office. So you're pretty flexible. But if you say you're a plumber or a handyman or like a lawyer, then this is a different story. Texas and California do provide a lot of places for these two to thrive. So that's not really an issue for California and Texas. These are basically bonus points in them. Next, we go down to Tennessee, Colorado. Corporate income tax, Tennessee, 6.5%. Colorado, 4.5%. In this case, these two is different from California and Texas. How do I say? Simple. If you are a doctor, you are a lawyer, your population and your location plays a big role in how much you make and how easy it is for it to grow, or how easy it is for people to find you. So you think about Tennessee. It's a smaller state compared to California and Texas. Colorado, more remote, just like Tennessee. A lot less population, meaning is certain businesses and service are not as in high demand compared within California and Texas. But what is in high demand in Tennessee and Colorado, since you have a lot of open land, you got big agricultural and farming, you got big manufacturing. Since manufacturing, they say America is dead, but the good part is, keep that in mind, manufacturing itself, if it's dead, that means there would be a high demand for special niche products. For example, let's say there are special types of detergent or soap. Maybe they use some type of animal product. Then that is a special type of product that you cannot find in Texas and California because it's a lot harder to run that type of business there. That's a perfect example. Now, you look for which one's business friendly. That really depends on your situation. So I'll give one example. There's one of my friends who went from California to Texas. And how does this relate is because that person is a day trader, meaning is he trades on the stock market and trades on cryptocurrency. So that's how he makes his living. And why did he move? When after speaking with him, in which he does not want to appear in camera, maybe he'll appear in camera. You guys click the subscribe button down below. But it's because, in his case, is politics. So politics could be another driving factor and why makes one state better than the other. In his case, California's politics was getting out of hand, so he moved to Texas. Now, as a business standpoint, is he doing better? In this case, yes, because he is making more money because he has no income tax. His business is not a corporate, level, so he's still benefiting in business also. He doesn't have to pay a corporate tax. And if you move to, let's say, like Tennessee, if you move to Tennessee, same thing. He'll do really good. Colorado, you still do really good. But in the same time, you got to ask yourself, if you move to those two states, if you're looking for a really specific niche, for example, you want to have Asian food, or you want to have food that's not American, then if you're in Tennessee and in Colorado, it's got to be a lot more difficult compared to, let's say, you are in Texas or in California, which you have every type of food anything you're looking for. If you live in the major cities, it's really easy to find. Then keep in mind, transportation plays a big role. If you're a restaurant owner, think about it. Would you make more money owning a restaurant in California and in Texas versus, let's say, you open a restaurant, like a pho restaurant in Tennessee or in Colorado? Which one will have more customers coming in? Which one's easier for you to find people? Obviously, it's got to be California and Texas. And there's another geographic advantage for California and Texas. It's one thing. Water is your friend. California owns major ports. Same with Texas and your nearby water. So if you're a manufacturing business and you manufacture goods and services that doesn't involve you owning like a farm, but just owning a factory, Texas is better than California in that sense because Texas and California both have major ports, but Texas has more land, and that land is a lot cheaper. Property tax is not cheaper, but the land is cheaper. You can get a bigger piece of property for a lot lower price. That is one difference right there. There's so many situations, I can't name it all. It really will depend on your situation. Based on CNBC, they say California is actually not one of the worst places to do, but I just chose it because I'm most familiar with it. So if you're looking for business friendly, and there's another thing that CNBC didn't mention, and this is by personal experience, how invasive is basically the business environment is. For example, law enforcement and the CDFDA, I think CT, don't quote me at that, I forgot the full name of it, but it's the California Sales Tax Force. Basically, if someone's evading sales tax, they'll come and get you. And in California, they are literally hands down on it, because I've seen someone in one nearby business actually got got their business broken into by police, basically on a level of the FBI, but for the state, because one of their clients or whatever invaded sales tax. So California is really strict compared to, say, Texas. Texas, it'll still happen, but you probably won't see it as often. In California, they can walk into your business. I made a video about this. And also, there was articles online say people has happened to other people in California, where people can walk into your office and ask you a bunch of invasive questions and say how you're being treated in office, asking your employees. And even says employee only, they can do it. They can just walk in behind a gate, behind a door that says employee only, and ask them. It's California, it's legal. But in Texas, most likely that is not legal. So if you look at Tennessee, Colorado, and I have people who live there, but in that case, they're closer more to Texas because they're more of a rural area. So they don't really have these type of strict environments for business. Now, you got to keep in mind, if you do well in business there, how about education? Education-wise, that'll be completely a different story. It depends what you want to do. Do you want to be homeschooled, or you want to go to a public schooling, or you want to go private schooling? That'll really be based on how it is. And which is better, I cannot answer that, because people can go to a really crappy school and do really well. People can go to a really good school. For example, say Harvard, go to law school, and come out doing worse than a guy who got out of like a community college and started their own business. I can't answer that for you. What I could answer is you guys clicking the subscribe button down below and the like button for the YouTube algorithm. But getting back on topic is, which one's better to live in? If you're like nitpicking out of these four, it's very hard to say. Basically, California is more stressful environment compared to the other three. The other three is way more open. And also, it's based on your politics too. If you're strictly looking business case, then I have to say Texas is the better option. Texas itself, what Texas have that California doesn't have? Bigger land, cheaper houses, the cost of living. They're both industrial tech hubs, meaning is more businesses and tech are moving there. So if you work in some type of big industry in California, for example, medical devices, anything that requires a high level skill, Texas is literally going to catch California on that. You can mark my word for that. Texas is growing because of the regulations are a lot looser over there, and the tax laws are a lot more friendly. But if you're looking for, let's say, farming, if you do farming or anything industrial that involves even larger plots of land. For example, if you look at Tesla, where they make their batteries and their cars, they have a plant in Fremont, California. But look all the crap that they get from state level people and other people just around the community. It's not friendly. And you look at nearby, their bestest bet is look at the battery factory for Tesla in Nevada. That one, you don't really hear much of it because they have a massive piece of land. They get all the stuff they need, and they don't have people bothering them. So in that case, if you're looking to make major manufacturing for parts and goods and services, and you look, let's say you do industrial farming in a massive scale. So instead of like selling your goods, for example, farming, you're selling fruits, you don't sell it just to America, you sell it to a whole wide world. For example, you sell like apples to like Japan, you sell it to maybe Europe, then you're better bet than opening a farm in like Colorado, Nebraska, somewhere else by the water, Mississippi. That's your better bet for business. So as a bonus for this video, because this can go on literally forever, I can talk about this forever. CNBC says North Carolina is one of the most business-friendly states, and I happen to know a few people there. And based on what the data shows, they are pretty close to correct, because North Carolina is nearby water. It's a pretty temperate climate, and the economy over there is doing really well. So there's a lot of people around there who have the technical knowledge. If you're looking for someone, you can find them there. And as for business friendly wise, within like the 5 I just list, it's pretty much up there. They're all better in California. For example, in this case, all better in California. California is just super invasive. As for cost of living, it's around Texas's level. It's still really good. Houses are still really cheap. As for people living there, it's not going to be cheap. But if you're like a person from like from EU, or you're moving in from like California, moved out to one of those states, definitely way cheaper, hands down. And if you're looking for a white collar job and start some type of business and requires around a white collar level, then the best place wouldn't be Tennessee or Colorado. Then you're looking for something like Texas or North Carolina. But if you're moving out of California, let's say you grow plants, you grow goods or farming goods, anything requires a lot of land. Maybe you want to open like a gigafactory. Then your bigger bet is either Texas will be an option. Then you probably would be looking at Tennessee or Colorado. But you ask Michael, they have income tax. That's just part of the story. Because if you go there and you get something like state or government grants, why wouldn't you go to their state? That's like a perfect incentive. If you open something like a restaurant, if you're going to choose something like Tennessee, then you got to think about what's your demographic over there. Let's say Tennessee, majority of people are Caucasian there. If you're opening, let's say, an Asian restaurant, would they like to eat your food? Who is your other Asian restaurant's competitors? And you want to find a place, in that specific example, you want to find a place with a heavier population. So specifically, you're targeting for cities. You don't want to open a restaurant in like the middle of nowhere in Colorado. If you do that, then you're just asking to lose money because you won't have enough customers coming in and notice who you are. So that's why most of those big restaurants or a lot of diverse restaurants usually go to major cities. And more rural areas have a lot less restaurants. It is what it is. As for which state is the best out of this list, in my case, for my example, and most of the people I spoke with, has to be Texas. Because first of all, they didn't choose Tennessee because Tennessee itself is really far from water. Meaning is if they need to ship goods from outside, going out of America to like other countries, it costs a lot more. Because if, let's say you're running a shipping business and you live in Tennessee, it's going to cost a lot more compared to someone living in Texas, which is closer to port and closer to water. Or for example, someone closer in North Carolina. Or you're in Colorado, you got to ship out whatever goods and services you're serving. For example, maybe you're an electronics manufacturer. Then as a small business, you're already at a disadvantage. This doesn't really apply to big businesses because big businesses have the capital and have the knowledge and the people to make whatever distance they travel from there, from point A to point B, and from that port, from point B to point C, they have that covered. But as a small business, then this will become an actual issue. So at the end, this will really base on where you want to live, what type of climate you want to deal with, what type of politics you want to deal with, and how much capital and what type of lifestyle you're looking for. That's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please click the subscribe button down below. And you have another topic you want me to cover. So for example, let's say how's the economy going? How do you know when the stock market is going to go up and down? Then leave a comment down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.